Welcome to Blood, Sweat and Talanoa. BST is a podcast about three guys from Porirua talking about health and well-being, community, and a whole lot of other stuff in between. I'm Shane. I'm here with my two usos, Te Are, Te Hau, Maloni, Kia Rana. How are you guys?
Yeah, all good, Shane. Kia ora, Shane.
Yeah, kia ora, bro. Yeah, all good.
You're good, Te Hau. So, Te Hau, without further ado, I'll get you to introduce our guest, an old friend and former player together. So over to you, my friend.
Yeah, the special guest, we go back from, I guess, probably when we met back in the 15s, making the grades and, of course, the bro playing for Waikato and myself playing for Wellington. This guy, bro, me and the bro, we grew up as in like, I've always, even back then, I didn't realize how special this guy was and he's still sort of like, the humble person that he is, very humble, and I'm grateful to meet him along that journey, and also to like now. So the special guest, his name is Moana, Waikato Huntley. Bro, over to you, Tade.
Yeah, kia ora tātou katoa. Popongi Morena, we have another international guest that's come on board this morning over in the UK. And as Te Hau has mentioned, his name is Martin Moana. Tēnā koe, Māori.
Tēnā koe, Te Are.
Yeah.
Tēnā koe.
Hey, look, if you could please just share maybe a pepeha, where you're from and all that jazz, and then we'll just continue with our Talanoa straight after. Thank you.
Yeah. Kia ora, boys. Kia ora te au. Yeah, man, it's been a long time. Ko Martin Moana taku ingoa. Ko tainui te waka, taupiri te maunga, Waikato te awa. Ko Ngāti Pau te hapu, ko Ngāti Whawhakia te hapu. Ko Horohoro te marae, ko Ngāti Whawhakia te marae. Ko Raahui Pookeka ahau. E noho ana I te Ingarangi or Halifax, UK. Yep, kia ora, boys.
Kia ora.
Kia ora, Māori. Hey, so Māori mentioned in terms of your pepeha Raahui Pookeka, and a lot of that early those early years were in the Waikato and that. Also centre of the kingitanga. What was it sort of like growing up in Raahui Pookeka?
Yeah, pretty for me growing up, bro, was pretty awesome. I suppose with our te reo and our tikanga and everything we brought up on marae. So with the kingitanga movement in Huntly, and Te Ata was queen at the time, and growing up in that area, and then obviously and your son Tuhei has recently passed, but growing up we sort of grew up with Tuhei, and we sort of were quite lucky and quite privileged really in terms of growing up in that environment and understanding our reo and all the sort of everything that comes with it. Being brought up in a marae, typical Māori boy, bro. Going down to the marae every weekend. We had to do mahi around the place, clean up and everything, and getting up to mischief and doing those sort of stuff that we did on the marae. But in Huntly itself, we grew up. It's a working town, coal mining town, and it's rugby league through and through. We played union, but that was only for school. But it's Huntly's. I think we had population 11,000 at the time, and you got 6 rugby league clubs. So everyone was affiliated, and generally there was like maraes that sort of affiliated to each rugby league club. So the football was really strong. So some really good talent that come out of Huntly, and a lot of good talent that didn't go on to had loads of opportunities, but they sort of, as you do. We've probably played with a lot of the boys over the years who sort of had, mad skills and just sort of, I'm just going to go and work in the mines and, that sort of stuff. But it is what it is. It is what it was. And I think, those who sort of, for us, most of us, hey, let's get out of Huntly. And the big dream back in the day when we were kids growing up was going to Oz, go over there and doing mahi over there and stuff. And And where I am now in England, you know, it was sort of like a dream to go and play in England, but it wasn't sort of on the cards. It was Aussie, and then, you know, as your career comes to an end, sort of thing, you try out the English league or the Pommy League. But yeah, growing up in Huntly, I played for our whānau team, which was the Rangariri Eels, but my first club was Huntly United, and they were based at Davies Park, which is the main sort of ground in the Waikato, and they always have most of the grand finals take place there and stuff like that. So there were two clubs, Huntly United, Huntly South, and then on my side of town, there were like all the marae clubs. So the big ones are like Taniwharau, the Rangariri Eels, Glen Afton, and then the ones nearby, which are in Ngarawahia, with Turanga Wawa and the Panthers, Ngarawahia Panthers. And then over the years, you know, we expanded the league we moved into Hamilton, because there were two separate leagues when we grew up. But coming through the schoolboy grades, they amalgamated, and then we went into teams like Waipa, Hukanui, City Tigers, quite dominant up in the Waikato. Whara, teams at Frankton Albion, that sort of, over the years, we got to play them, but now these are very few and far between. I think there's probably about 5 or 6 clubs that are still going, which, you know, it's the league's still strong. They still do okay. And then I think coming through the grades, playing Waikato, rep football and stuff, and I think growing up in Huntly, that's all you knew. You know, like and it was crazy because you guys were probably the same. On a Saturday, we'd play union for the school, that sort of stuff, and then on a Sunday we'd play footy, we played league, and that was sort of how we grew up. In the summertime, it was either softball or touch. So those are the sports, and then obviously everyone played basketball, or thought we could play. And we were down the courts till like, you know, 8, 9 o'clock at night, just playing ball down there, and sort of that. So that was our life, sort of growing up, fitting into all the sort of going to the maraes on the weekend and doing the mahi and that stuff. Yeah, for me, as a Māori boy from Huntly, yeah, good grounding for me. I think understanding, you know, when I'm been over here, like, geez, how long I've been in the UK? Maybe 28 years now. But it's always good to go home and sort of, you know, when I go back onto the marae or go to tangies and stuff like that, sort of, you know, still understanding the protocols and the process and that sort of stuff, and teaching my kids, I suppose, you know, because they were brought up here in England, and going back, and, you know, they ask questions, I go ask. Some of them I forget, so some of them I have to ask too. You know, I have to ask my brothers or my aunties and uncles, what do we do here? I forget, you know, so it's been so long, but you know, I'm always one to ask. So if I don't know, then I'll go and ask them. So, but yeah, so growing up in Huntly, playing rep footy, and then obviously, I think schoolboy tournament. I think we were up in Auckland, bro? I think we took place the under-15s tournament. I'm sure we were in Auckland. That's where I met Te Ho and Freddie. Met Fred up there, and then we sort of like, we were picked for the schoolboy Kiwis, and we played the Australian. At that time, all the sort of rep football over there was Catholic colleges, so we played them in a test series, and fortunate enough, it was in Huntly at Davies Park. So, you know, it was home for me, and it's interesting because it's one of those things. A couple of years before, we had the Northern Zone comp, and that was sort of our. Wellington wasn't in there, so it was like us, Auckland, Northland.
You had a North,
Midlands,
under 13s.
They had plenty of all those.
And we had a Southern Zone.
Southern Zone,
Under 13s? Yeah, because we had a Southern Zone.
Under 13s.
Under 13s.
Yeah, that's it, bro. So that was the first platform, I think, I suppose, if you wanted to play rep football. And so a couple of years earlier, played Northern Zone, and man, there was like probably just me and one of the other boys, Tony from Midlands. He was from down near Rotorua, down that way, and 2 of us, and then 15 Auckland players. So the Auckland team dominated, and then obviously then your next opportunity was the schoolboy Kiwis. And I think in life, we talk about setting goals and stuff, and it was my dream always to play sort of professional football, play football at a decent level. And I remember having it on my calendar, and I knew the test match. I looked it up. Test match was going to be in Huntly. That's my goal for this year. So the start of that 15s year was like, step by step, making that rep footy team, and then going on to sort of, hopefully play for the schoolboy Kiwis, and then playing in Huntly, in front of our whānau, and having our home crowd there and stuff.
So, Marty, going back to your making those your career in the juniors, say the under 13s, and so,
yeah,
who inspired you from there onwards?
I think my inspiration.
Yeah,
I suppose the old man, he used to,
yes.
week in week out, he used to take us, all those winter mornings, getting up and then. I think he was pretty inspirational for me. And also there was a guy that coached me. His name was Willie Perry. And he was sort of like the driving force between around our team. And I think most of the guys I went to school with, we probably about 12 of us all went on to represent Waikato at rep level. And, Willie then became our coach. So he was sort of like the driving force, 13s, 14s, 15s. Up onto those grades, and I suppose the club footy stuff, that's where it sort of starts.
Yeah.
And we had I suppose back in the day we had a gun team, and there were probably 7-8 players that could have gone on and played pro.
Yeah.
I think one or two went on to play at a decent level, which was pretty awesome. But if they're having that sort of consistency through the grades, and Willie inspiring us to sort of like kick on and make a go yourself. And it was the old cliche, don't be stuck in Huntly, mate. There's nothing here. You go and work down in the pits and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Just hearing your how you already had a mindset and your vision at that age that you wanted to be, you wanted to get to the top. Obviously you did. Because I guess when you're 13 nowadays, it's a different story. You're on your phones nowadays, eh? Where back then, you had to make those choices, eh?
Yeah, we didn't have those choices, eh, bro?
No.
These kids nowadays, totally different.
Yeah, different. I'm like, far out.
Yeah. My kids are no different. We didn't have mobile phones then.
No.
I'll see you down the Spacey shop or see you down the dairy and that sort of stuff. And
but that's good that you shared that because... I was just thinking, what was I doing at 13?
It's a different generation, like this generation or the kids.
Yeah.
Cell phones generation, awesome. Man, or the media, the sort of like us kids going out there and playing on getting your. I don't know. I remember as being a kid at the back of us, Waihimu, there was a sliding patch. I don't know if you knew. You done any of those, and you just went down the hill with the sliding patch. It was just for kicks.
Yeah.
Build, was it? I think these older boys than us, behind Waihimu, there's like it's kind of like a forest, and they used to build. Older than us, they used to build little tree huts.
Yeah.
In the middle of the in the forest there, and I remember that as a kid, like going far, and we used to go eeling down there as well. I don't think they do that now, but I'm just saying that's the kind of stuff that I've done growing up.
Marty, so look, it sounded you talked us through that there were some early goals and driving that through those years into the junior Kiwis and that. What were the most challenging things of that sort of period as you sort of started to build on the success from 13s and 15s?
Matt, I think just like anything, I think when you're in that atmosphere, I think in the rugby league clubs, the difference was those when you start playing like senior football, in the premiers and stuff like that. It's that temptation, I suppose, with the Waipiro and stuff like that, and they talk about it, girls and chasing girls and stuff like that. I suppose still having those goals set you're setting those goals for yourself, and all those temptations nowadays, and it's a little bit different. It's no different now to the boys. I see the youngsters nowadays, still their temptations there. I think at the end of the day, it's up to them, to have that mindset and set those goals and and achieve them. I think going through school and like seeing a lot of my mates sort of go by the wayside, that sort of stuff, and there was like obviously stuff like marijuana, that sort of stuff, and the boys turn into having those temptations of going down that road. And I think you see it and it's there, but you're just trying to do your best to like encourage them to sort of come play footy, bro. Keep busy, see that social side, that sort of side of it, and then especially the talented boys, and there were loads coming out of Huntly. And we all seen that in the background, but I think those were the sort of big challenges, especially for me. And then when you get to that junior Kiwi level, it's like you sort of there you get picked up, and there were contracts in, and the dream was always to go and play an Aussie. And we were fortunate with our junior Kiwi team. We had 2 tests against the Aussies, and they were at home as well. So one was in Rotorua and one up in Auckland. And we had a good team, really good team. When you go through the junior Kiwi team and you look at those guys that probably went on to play pro, probably only 2 or 3 that didn't. Some of them went on to the legends of, New Zealand rugby union and league. You look at Rubes, you coach you captain the Kiwis for so long, and then Tana, we were fortunate to have Tana in our team as well, and he went on to play for the All Blacks. And so when you look at that caliber, those guys, they're legends, back home.
So, because Te Hau was mentioning about how you two played in the Kiwis, and because I didn't really know until he told me the story, and that's how we got you on board this morning. It's just real awesome to hear. And back in the day, 90s, was it 92 or was it under 17s, 89?
Our schoolboys under 15s.
15s, yeah.
We played Huntly, our first test.
Yeah, and then how you've just mentioned with regards to the other guys such as Ruben and all them that moved on as well, and Tana, you made all those the All Blacks, both codes.
Marty, looked, that was that 92 team. We know Barry Weu, who was one of our teammates in Wellington, and that as well. And when you talk of that team, so there's a number of them, but also there was a number of you that also became the basis of the beginnings of the depth and of the Warriors in terms of from first grade down.
We so obviously it comes with it all. Once you sort of junior Kiwis is sort of like your platform, and I think probably after those test series, probably the majority of the team were then sort of like picked up to sign for the Warriors. So we signed back in early '93, so we were a couple of years ahead of the Warriors kicking off in '95. So we were fortunate. I was fortunate enough to sign for the Warriors. I think I signed a 3-year deal. At the time, I was in university and stuff and going through college. So, they sort of paid for your sort of tuition and stuff like that through college, and was doing a degree in sports science. So I did 3 years and I did a couple of years at Waikato University, and then obviously I moved to Auckland. In between, I think I played the Lion Red Cup for the Cougars in Waikato, and then I moved to Auckland in '95. So that was making those rec teams and coming through the grades, playing with Freddie and all those guys. There's some gun players about, and just like presents those opportunities, I suppose. To go on to sort of play in the big league. Back then it was ARL, as we knew it, and
that's right. So you're Warrior number 17, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure.
Fortunate enough to make the starting lineup for the first game against Brisbane at home. I think that the pre-season stuff, we had like 3 games. So I think we played Canterbury in the first one, So that was the first sort of hit out for the Warriors pre-season.
That game there was down in Christchurch, bro. So I'm pretty sure I was down in Christchurch and I'll try to catch up with you because these guys were warming up. And I think Siduri was with you at that time.
Yep. Sid was there.
And Stephen Kearney as well.
Yeah.
Because that was that pre-season, eh? I try to.
Yeah.
Well, in the crowd, you can't hear anyone, eh? And you're just warming up. So I was calling out for you, bro. You and Steve.
Yeah, bro. So the pre-season stuff. So we played Canterbury.
Yeah.
All my family always say to me, they're always like, bro, you were the first try scorer for the Warriors. I went, so in that Canterbury game, I scored the first 2 tries. And I should have scored the third one, but I dropped it over the line. And after the game, John Boney said to me, he goes, bro, you're the first try scorer for the Warriors. You could have been the first hat-trick. And I was like, next time. So I had a couple of good games, obviously building up in Canterbury, and then we played down, and the second game, I can't think it was. It might have been in New Plymouth. Didn't play no one. Then we played Auckland up at Carlaw and had a good game there. And then that's obviously when they picked the 17 for the Brisbane team. So I was fortunate enough to get 17. In the starting 17 for the first game. But he took a lot of the boys from down your guys' neck of the woods, down Wellington, like Barry and them, still speak to them now. Mooks. I met Steve probably. He was, and I tell you, we can go back to the 15, but he was like back in the days, bro, when we played ref football. When you used to get billeted out.
Yeah.
And Steve was billeted with my auntie. So when Wellington come up, we had the Wellington team. Al Marae had the Wellington team, and Steve was billeted out. And I remember him then. And then obviously he went on to do what he did, and pretty awesome. Going back to the 15s, me and Fred were billeted by one of the local clubs, Tūranga Waiwai.
Tūranga Waiwai. The Matthews family. Tukua Matthews.
Yeah.
I still mates with that young fella.
Likewise. Goes back, but it was a crack up because when we got bulleted out, what are you guys wanting for a feed? And there's some things you sort of remember. But see, I grew up around there and I'm your auntie. Kia ora, auntie. See, there's. We're off to the club. We're playing tomorrow. I went, we're off to the club. I'm thinking, we're playing tomorrow. The club, and typical after the game, beers and stuff. And we're there till 11, 12. We better go home, bro, for Moy and get ready for the game. No, you fellas will be all right. You'll be all right.
You know what I mean? I was like, bro, you know what? I remember the Matthews family and the whānau there. They treat me like I was one of their sons, like his cousin. That's why it's just naturally, they just treat you like you're a nephew. Yeah, come on, nephew. Come on, you fellas. Let's go.
So you guys were out the whole night before the game?
I can't do that nowadays.
I reckon. Marty, look, what was the Warriors in 1995, one of a number of new clubs into the competition? I mean, what was it like being in that environment, particularly for a new club, and that you didn't have much to go off, say, some of the established clubs in Sydney and that. Just what was it like in terms of a new club and forming and trying to bring together a team culture?
It's pretty awesome. I think the part of that experience at 95, bringing all the sort of caliber players in and bringing guys back from Aussie and players back from the UK, and Dean, and he was our captain at the time, bringing a couple of Aussies in, and Brandy and Phil Blake and players like that. But that caliber was just to rub shoulders with them, I suppose, in a nutshell. But to be fair, the whole sort of environment, it was like second to none. We sort of went into camps and stuff, and they brought all the wives, families, that sort of thing. So we were in camp for 3-4 days, and sort of, I suppose back then, all your sponsors, the things we got, you talk about kit, you talk about being able to sort of have media training and being able to sort of talk, to reporters, because you're going to have that stuff all the time, going through all those different experiences. As youngsters, we're like, what do we say? And then, so you get up and you do that sort of training for a couple of hours a day. The footy side it was no sort of about footy. It was all like fun stuff. making sure the wives knew that on a game day they had these areas for the kids, and that we were well looked after, really. And all the other sort of benefits that come with it, all the different sponsorships and car sponsorships and that sort of stuff. It was pretty awesome. And they went all out too in '95. We were quite spoiled, if I'm being honest. But in the same token, geez, when we pulled, I think then we had 3 squads, because we had back then you played sort of like premiers, reserves, and then we had like a Colts team or 21s team. They ended up playing in what was called the Lion Red Cup. So then when you've got 51, 52 players, training, 4 or 5 days a week, it was pretty full on. So the groups, I think, went up to like H. It was like, 7 in each group, and there were like players all over the place. But it was nice to rub shoulders with, at the time, Kiwis that were playing, and then seeing all the young talent coming through. And I know the General Stacey, he was in the 21 squad, and then he came into the reserves, and by the end of the year he was playing, first grade footy. So it was nice to see that development of those players sort of coming through and being a part of that, I suppose. And on that first night against Brisbane, running out, it was pretty awesome.
How was it? How
was
it participating in that game? Because it was such a showcase in terms of at the time.
To be fair, I think I probably played about probably 20 minutes, but because what had happened, you play reserve grade, so I played full 80 minutes of reserve grade, and then it goes, bro, they want you on so they only named 15 players, and then 2 they picked from the reserve grade. So it was myself and I think Jason Mackey, boy from up north, and so both of us went on the bench, and then ended up playing 20 minutes, in first grade in that first game. But it was like, because of the atmosphere, the crowd, it was just like a blur, really. The noise was just immense. So whether you were sort of within the game, all I remember is like being in the game. But God, the noise, was definitely on there. Yeah, but what an experience. It was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think after that sort of first big sort of launch in the first game, how did it feel in terms of settling into the regular grind of NRL or ARL football at the time?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I think that pre-season, we'd been to Aussie a few times in pre-season. We played 2 or 3 games over there. And it was getting used to the travel. So we were in Aussie every second week. And, when you're taking 2 squads of players, you've got 40 players, and then the rest of the team, from physios to doctors, kit men, all the rest of it. It was a good 50, 60 of us traveling every second weekend to Australia. So it was pretty impressive. But again, if you got picked in the reserves, you'd play 80 minutes, and then the 2 players always had to go and play first grade. I think the following week we played the Steelers down in the Gong, and so I went down, played 80 minutes in the reserve grade, and then I think I went on 5 minutes into I think Greg Alexander got hurt, so he went off, so I went to 6, and ended up playing like 75 minutes in the first grade game, so it was pretty full on. There was no rest.
Did you weigh a lot lighter at the end of the game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Still feel like you're talking like March time, and it's still warm. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, great experience.
Marty, one of the things that you've played, sort of the versatility of the role of positions that you've played, 5'8", centre, loose forward, and that. Did you have a preference in terms of that? And did it sort of typecast you sometimes in terms of having that versatility?
Yes and no. I think when I was at the Warriors, before I went to the Warriors, I was playing loose forward for the Cougars. So they put me and played junior Kiwis at loose forward. So only reason I went to a 6 role, we toured Aussie in '94 with we took a Colts team to play like in the President's Cup. So that we went over, represented the Warriors, and I ended up playing 6. And they says, all right, you're going to play 6 now. So I sort of stayed there, and then through the year, ended up pretty much at 6 with the Warriors most of the year, and then sort of I didn't revert back to 13 to probably later on till I come to the UK, because I came to the UK as a 6 as well. So and then later on I ended up in the 13 role, and a couple of coaches tried to push me forward to second row prop and stuff like that. I went, mate, I'm going to retire if you push me anywhere forward. That's it. I'm going up there. Those fellas are too. That's big, mate. Yeah.
So the same year in '95, I believe you made the New Zealand, was it Sevens?
There's a Sevens rule.
Yeah. So we. Oh yeah. So yeah,
that's different
that was,
again, eh?
Yeah. Sevens footy it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Sevens comp. It was quite funny, really, because so the Warriors had a 7s team, so they sort of took the nuclear. They took probably the best sort of the 12 players they thought we were going to sort of like do well in the 7s, and then the other. So then we had 12, and we were all from the Warriors. It was funny because we were all from the Warriors, bar one. There was one guy guy Vinny Ware, who was like a 7 specialist.
Oh yeah, Vinny.
Yeah, and so Vinny came in and played, and the rest of us were all at the Warriors. So we were sort of like the second choice in his Warriors team, if you like.
Oh,
okay.
He would have been only up to your waist, wouldn't he, Vinny Ware?
Yeah. I played with Vinny because he's from the Waikato, so I knew Vinny anyway, and we played footy together. Oh. But the funny thing was, us and the Warriors were in the same group. Oh. So Frank Endicott being our coach with the 7s, he goes, right, we're going to go over early. Up in Brisbane, we're the hot. So we were like 2-3 days before the comp even kicked off. So we had acclimatized. Warriors flew in the night before. So we caught up with all the boys and stuff, and then we knew we were playing them. Well, we went and so we beat them, didn't we? And it was so they were all sitting at the table, and they had to go home the next day, and we flew down to Sydney to play the second part of it, the finals part of it, and it was fun. It was quite funny, really, when we beat them.
Wow!
And when you think about it, it was sort of like the sort of next best Warriors players that sort of made the New Zealand 7s.
Yeah,
great experience. Yeah, another one, playing up at Lang Park, or Suncorp, and then beating the Warriors there. Yeah, they weren't happy.
How did you find trying to defend such big sort of areas and space on the field playing 7s? How was that sort of? Did it sort of give you a sort of a feeling of you're a bit uneasy about what's on either side of me and how would I defend this space?
Shane, back in those days, I was a lot fitter, a lot lighter. So it was all right because we all played touch footy. Yeah. Once you got around one or two of their big boys, that's it. You knew the hot gaps were going to open up. So it was just, and then it was looking for your wingers, mate. Come on, where are you? Just give it to them. And it was nice. It was nice. It was easy when you play around the middle. Yeah. And you got a bit of toe and stuff, and you just look for your speedsters and just give them the ball. But no, it's good. 7s is good, but it's fast. I remember we played the Fijians. Man, they're just like big units just running straight at you constantly, and you're just like, you just got to keep hitting them and hitting them and hitting. They don't stop though. They just keep coming at you. But again, another good time playing against those guys.
No one in Druka, eh? Well, those fast guys, these Fijian players. They played for, I think he played for
Canberra.
Canberra.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So from the Warriors, you also ended up where you're at now in the UK. Started your career back in the UK after the Warriors. Eh?
How did it happen? How did it happen, Martin?
Talk you through it, but it wasn't meant to happen. Well, I'll tell you. I think we were pre-season training because I was at the Warriors. I had like 3 years there. I think I was there till the end of maybe 98, 99, maybe 4 years. Yeah. If you remember, during the 95 season, they had the Super League Wars. Yes. So we all signed, and again, in the right place, right time. We all signed big deals, and I think I signed a 3-year contract. So I was there 96, 97, 98 with the Warriors. So it wasn't going anywhere. And then pre-season, Tia Ropati comes in and goes, "Oh, bro, these guys in England want like a 6 for like 3 months." It was the end of their winter season. And then they were switching over in 96 to the Super League. So it was going ahead up there. I says, "Oh, do you want to go over for 3 months?" I went, "Yeah, I'll go over for a run." So I went over, came to Halifax, where I live now, and been here ever since. And it's a fantastic place. But I remember when the coach picked me up from Manchester Airport. Me and my wife were driving down, snow everywhere. I'm like, "What have we come to this? What were we thinking?" And it was a bit of a culture shock, but we got here, and then he pulled up at the club. And then he goes, "Oh, come out and have a look." And so we're walking through the snow and we're looking at this field. He goes, "Oh, is this the training pitch?" And he went, "No, mate, this is where we play." I went, "No, you're joking." And man, it just like the traditional grounds up here in England, until you play in them and you're sort of engrossed with that atmosphere, you understand, the way the English footy runs and stuff like that. But mate, what an experience. So I came over for 3 months. Ended up playing the end of that last winter season before they changed over. Obviously made an impression, and they just says, at the time then, the Super League wars were still going on, so they weren't going ahead in 96. So I said, "Oh, it's going ahead here. You want to sign here for 3 years?" So I said, "Well, this is what I'm getting paid." But "Yep, we'll pay that." So I ended up staying. And I spoke to John and Frank, and they said, "Yeah, no, you go for it, mate. You go for it, stay up there," and then, the rest is history. They never left the place and still live here in Halifax now. So,
bro, what was like mum and dad like? Did you talk to mum and dad when so you were still young at that time? Was your dad all good with it, and mum? When you signed?
Yeah. So initially the guy, you're only going for like Christmas, you'll be back in like February, and then I rung them and says, "Oh, no, these guys offered me a contract, blah, blah, blah." And they said, "No, son, just do what you do. We'll support you no matter what." So it was a case of, okay. And then my wife at the time was pregnant. So I said, "Yeah, we'll stay here and we'll make over." So obviously my oldest boy was born and bred. He's Pom, he's a Pom, he's English. All my kids they're born here, so they're all English. But it's family support, mate, was awesome. They and for them was like, "Oh, we can come up there and visit you." And of course you can.
But
More than welcome. And a lot of them have been up over the years and visited. So and all the rest of the whānau, a lot of them have come over and stayed. And
Nice.
And you fellas very more than welcome if you fellas are up here.
I get to have
Welcome to come up here.
Invitation.
Hey, he'll take you up
I've
on
got
a
vacation.
Yeah, I've got a brother-in-law in the UK there somewhere. I don't know what part.
Martin, look, that transition, how did you find that transition from, playing in Australia, playing in that competition into England? What was some of the differences you found when you made the move?
I think the weather plays a massive part. Obviously, I only played that last winter season, but then we went into summer. Obviously, we started in March here, which goes into the English summer, right through to end of September. Don't be fooled, though. It's not really a summer. I mean, sometimes it only gets as hot as 22 degrees, and it's still freezing over here. But you sort of adapt to it. I think that the changes, the tough thing is probably the style of footy. It doesn't seem as fast. The training was a bit sort of mix and match. It's not as intense as what we did back at the Warriors or back home.
Yeah.
And a lot of overseas players that come over will say exactly the same. Intensity's not there, but the Poms, they are tough buggers, and they really mix it up. I think when I first started playing, even in training, so in the team I played at Halifax, we were quite fortunate. So when I got here, there was 3 of the Samoan brothers and 1 of the Tongans. So we had John Schuster. Remember Johnny played at ABs?
Yes,
Johnny Schuster was there with us. Tanner's older brother, Mike.
Michael.
Yeah, so Michael's with us here. And Freddie Tuolangi, one of the Tuolangi brothers.
Oh.
Yeah, Fred was here, and one of the Tongan boys, Asa Moan. and he played all his footy in Aussie. So that was our sort of whānau when I was in Halifax. So we all sort of stuck together and sort of did everything together. But so we had them, and then we had probably 3 or 4 Welsh representatives, and we had about 4 GB players in the team. So the team was stacked. I think that year we finished second behind St. Helens. So the team was really good. It was quite stacked. But first training, so our captain, he was big prop, rough and ready. As soon as I took the ball took my head off. This is in training. I went, hey, I'm on your team. He goes, welcome to England, boy. And I just looked up at him. I went, oh, thanks, bro. It got worse because when we played Leeds over at Headingley, and I think then they had about 7 Kiwis there. There was like Craig Innes was there, Georgie Mann, Tony Kemp, Gary Mercer. Who else was there? Sydney Faimalo. Yeah. So they had about maybe 6, 7 Kiwis. First tackle went in, 3 of them just bashed me and said, yeah, welcome to England, boy. And then I looked up and went, bro, we're on the same. But that's what it was like. You know, sort of like a bit of a rude awakening. But, you know, Kev Iro was there. Yeah, the Beast was there. So they had a good team. They had a good team, Leeds. Some gun players. But, yeah, no, the football, like I say, is a little bit slower. But, yeah, they're tough as they come. Yeah, definitely.
The schedule's quite heavy too, isn't it? Is it you play a lot more games? Is that what you found?
Yeah, Shane. Yeah. So that last season I played, which was the last winter season, you were playing like you'd play a Friday, Wednesday, Sunday. Whoa. There was like 3 games within like 9 days. Yeah. And you could imagine it was like sometimes it was like 2 degrees, and they had to clear the pitch, clear all the snow off. And I said, oh, mate, can I play in my skins? And then we get those off. Running out in those. And I'm like, I put about 3 layers on. It was an experience. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, and look, Marty, you played nearly 300, close in that range of 300 odd games, sort of in England, you know, over quite a lengthy period. How did you stay resilient? What was your method or approach, or just, you know, how did you sort of sustain that, particularly given, you know, that amount of football you're trying to have to turn out every week?
I think it goes back to, you know, I think I mentioned it earlier with the setting those goals, I suppose, going back to being a youngster. When I was at college and uni, I did the sports degree, so I had a lot of sort of experience around sort of mentality, you know, the way you sort of prepare. And at the end of the day, you've got to look after your body. You look after your body, it'll look after you. So through those later years, it was just been, you know, doing the extra training and, you know, picking up good habits. At the Warriors, and a great example at the Warriors was as kickers, as 6s and 7s, as soon as training finished, John Mooney would he'd set up a grid in the corner, a square. You had to get 10 grubber kicks and you had to land 10 bombs, and you weren't allowed to lead training until you did that. And there'd be like a coach that would just stay with you, right, until you achieved all your things. So the more we sort of, I think I sort of had that mindset from day dot. So, and just that sort of that mental preparation and being able to do those extras. So, you know, and understanding, you know, this was your job. You know, this is sort of like providing for your family and understanding that that's what, you know, you've got to do. This is your job week in, week out. So if you look after number one, you look after your body and everything and your well-being emotionally, because and I talked about it when I came over. So our family was, you know, Mike and John and Freddie and us. No family here. Yeah. And we're so far away. You had to have that. You had to have that emotionally. Not only for me, for my partner and all the wives getting together, because it can be lonely. Yep. Over here, the dark winter nights, you know, in the English, over here being so far away from family, we didn't really have FaceTime and like stuff like that. Now, you know, WhatsApp and all that. Yeah. Back then it was
Telegram.
Still on dial-up, maybe.
Telegram.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, Telegram. Yeah. So it was, I suppose, having that mentality to sort of look after your body to sort of maintain, through all those seasons that we played up here.
Yeah.
I think that was the key, bro. That was the key to sort of look after your body, to look after the rest, sort of thing.
Yeah. When you talk around that well-being and having that close-knit, sort of whānau in terms of that New Zealand connection and that as well, how did that help with that sort of well-being? Because, your body, the mind, the body follows the mind. How did you sort of keep that mental fitness and also, like you say, lonely or just having that distance? How did you manage those moments when it was challenging?
Looking back at it, you just sort of don't realize what impact that has on you. As you sort of get older and wiser, and you sort of look back on it and, hey, mate, all those times, we stuck together and coming out, even just talking about things nowadays, people do struggle. And back then it was like, oh, bro, yeah, we'll do this and do it. Even if it was going for like to the driving range or a game of golf, it was just sort of like, oh, bro, I'm having problems at home, that sort of stuff. And, it was sort of whakamā. You wouldn't talk about it. You wouldn't come out and like speak to one of the boys or your brothers or whatever. And just having those conversations. But looking back on it, it was massively supportive. And I think with me being over here so long, so through the years, we've got a group together. So a couple of the boys that I played with at the Warriors over like 3-4 years later all started coming over. So what we created was like a sort of like a community now that we're, once a month, all the overseas players would get together and go out for like a meal and stuff. And then in the school holidays, we'd get all the families together, get a load of bouncy castles and stuff. So all the wives could catch up. And then, bro, we just put on a feed over here with like, quite a few of the boys over here. We've all got like hangi kegs and stuff like that. Yeah. So all the Tongan Samoan boys, all the Islander boys bring all their food. All the wives cook a chop suey, everything, bro. We have a big feed, and I think that's what we're sort of created now, just amongst. And if you know the sort of the rugby league's only played up in the north, so it's on what they call the M62 corridor. So if you go from the west coast of Liverpool, which is St. Helens, right across to the east coast, which is Hull, right along the M62 corridor, that one motorway. So you've got like Saints, Warrington, Wigan, Salford, Rochdale, Oldham, and you come over the border into Yorkshire, where we are. You've got Halifax, Huddersfield, Leeds, Hull, OKR. And then the sort of teams are like the ones like in France, Catalan Dragons. And then obviously Broncos that are down in London. But generally, all the rugby league teams are up here in the north. So we created this community group. Well, for us, all the boys coming over, just say, bro, you're not alone. We understand what you guys have gone through. And these guys that have been here longer than me, a few of the boys have been here, coming up 40 years. And I said, bro, you guys need to come too. And the next generation, it's about supporting them and their partners. That there are people here that can help, and because we've been there that long, we sort of run that now 3-4 times a year, and we get together. We've got a group on now, so we're part of the rugby league over here now, British Rugby League. So like I think we got the Samoan game today. They play England, so all the boys have got tickets. All the boys have got tickets for it. So for them and their family, and that's sort of part of the sort of group we've created. So we've got boys on the board now from rugby league that took on our behalf, and so it's pretty mean. We've got quite a good setup. One of the other boys is the president of one of the rugby league clubs over here, Doncaster, Carl Horse. So so that's sort of those sort of networks, and all the new players that come over, we try and get together in February, the initial one, because they all come in for the pre-season. So, right, this is what we've got in place. They're struggling with visas, visas for their partners, that sort of stuff. We have people in place to sort of set that up. So the welfare of the players is a lot better than when I came over. And that's sort of going back to sort of us sort of seeing that,
setting it up,
setting all that up and sort of
So is
putting
that
that in
for
place for the
all?
next generation.
Was that for like all levels? Like, if you had a young
Yep.
fella come over and he might be playing maybe just below.
Yep. So it goes all the way to the championship, and even right down to, those that are playing at an amateur level.
Yes.
They come over on the holiday visas.
Yeah.
So until you're playing at a sort of semi-pro or pro level, you need certain visas to play. Otherwise, if you come over on holiday, you can play for anybody.
Yeah.
But usually you're only allowed in for 2 years, like a 2-year working visa, holiday visa.
If you go over on your ancestry passport, should be cowboy, isn't it?
Yeah, bro. Yes. Loads of them come over on those. So they used to have what they call a Copac ruling. So, or like if you come over on a Samoan, Tongan, say Tukalauan, or any sort of those sort of passports, you get in free. You wouldn't be on the quota.
Hey.
Oh, I'd watch out. Be careful on those Tukalauan passports.
Are they dodgy, bro?
Martin, look, because of that time that you've spent in the game, and again, you said in terms of putting up a number of support networks and that is around. What have you noticed any difference of the players coming from New Zealand over to play in England in terms of just what is there any from the time that you came in your experience? Are you seeing any sort of trends in terms of players coming to England to play?
So for me, the ones that come from New Zealand are pretty generally they were quite grounded, and it's interesting to see if you get sort of the boys that brought up in the Aussie system, different expectation, bro, and sometimes they need to not be humble, but just sort of understand, we're here to support them. Over in Aussie, they probably had everything on a different scale, but some of them can be a little bit sort of, what's the word without being rude, bro? It's just like, sometimes just like, we're here to support you fellas, regardless. Whether you're brought up in Aussie or not, whatever, we're all the same, bro. And it's, and I think some of the older players that have been there, like, you look at like a Fika Paliasina and those sort of, but they tell them straight, They tell them straight, and it's a crack up. I just sit back because I'm one of the older ones now, so I can just sit back. You fuck that game, sort those young fellas out there. Just like sit at the back. Yep, you got it, bro. You got it.
So do you have one central place where you guys sort of meet each time? You have
so we sort of try and keep it central. We have like a hub, which is Brighouse Rangers Rugby League Club. So they're one of the OGs. They're one of the original clubs that started rugby league way back in 1896. So we use that as a hub because it's sort of halfway point for those travelling from St. Helens and Hull. So we all sort of meet in the middle. We use that quite often as a hub. A couple of the other boys are sort of taking on amateur rugby league clubs. So we've gone to their venues and used them as well, just to support them as well, which has been good. It's been good. Awesome. But over here, there's loads of Kiwis from loads of Islander boys that have been there for years. And it's always nice to catch up with them. And they're scattered all over the place, and not just just here on the M62 corridor. And on top of that, we sort of the networks into the rugby union guys as well. There's loads of them on the corridor, so they all come, and it's good to see them too.
So they join as well.
Yeah, we all join in. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Bro, buddy, it's quickly, bro. You know that you played for Wakefield Trinity as well, right?
Yeah, right? Had a bit of a stint there.
I just wanted to ask you, bro, because I know this is all about your journey and stuff, but I know that one of my brothers, his son's coming over. He's got a 3-year contract with Wakefield Trinity.
Okay.
So because we're talking about this, so hopefully I could sort of get him to sort of email you or get in touch with you, because the ropes over there, you know. So he'll be a new kid on the block. He's I think he's 20 now, just turned 20.
Awesome. Oh wow! He just they just gone back into the Super League. They dominated the championship this year. Got another nephew there, Joe. Joe Vagana. So those young fellas at Wakey, Isaiah. So Isaiah comes to all the dues and stuff. So they just get them all in anyway. They'll all be there. I'll keep an eye out for what's his name, bro.
His name's Sif Nicotemo. I will be,
Hey, that's your
After-
nephew.
Yeah,
Shit.
it's Steve's son.
Steve's boy. Okay.
Yeah, Siffy. Yeah.
Mean,
Right.
mate.
So, yeah. So I just thought I'd chuck that in there because because you're talking about the bleeding and the young fellas coming through.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, we'll catch up with them, bro. I'll
Yeah.
mention them. I'll catch up with them.
Get them in the network.
Yeah.
Marty, look, what with that volume of players coming from New Zealand and places is a couple of things. Is what are clubs looking for a certain skill set in terms of players from New Zealand, and what do New Zealand players actually contribute to the English League in terms of coming in and playing through various sort of clubs in that?
Yes. So the Kiwi boys, and this is my personal opinion, but you can see it in the leagues. Mate, they just have that natural flair. The Island boys, the Kiwi boys, they just got stuff that that you can't teach, bro. You can't teach, and some of them they're pretty awesome. And I think nowadays that the type of player that comes over are a bit more structured in terms of like resilience, that sort of back in the old day you sort of get props that'll go on say for 10 minutes and they'll sub them off, even like 10-15 years in the game here. They'll have like a 10, 15, 20 minute max burst and they'll take them off. Now your props are running, mate, they're staying on for 80 minutes. So that the difference of the sort of caliber of player, but more so for whether the Kiwi boys or the Island boys from Aussie or New Zealand, they just have that different sort of flair, and it's awesome to watch, and it's awesome to see them succeed in the game up here. And we'll continue to support them, bro. And all the boys are heading over to Wigan today to go and watch them Samoa today, so it'll be a good turnout. And then we're all at Leeds. We're all at Leeds next week for the second test. Nice. So it's pretty mean. Pretty mean, and it's quite good because it brings that sort of carnival, sort of festival, sort of feel. And we're all out, music on, and everyone's dancing, and it's quite good. And the English, they love it. They love it. They love our culture. Whether you're Samoan, Tongan, wherever you're from New Zealand, they love it over there. They especially when we were doing the huckers and stuff like that. It's just they love that stuff over here.
Yeah, and look, that's I think you've talked to us about some of the work that you're doing in that pastoral care space and that as well. With sort of that transition from the end of your playing career, what were your sort of goals moving into that sort of post playing sort of phase?
So for me it was the club I played for. I retired. It was Swinton Lions, which is over in Manchester. So I played like 4 seasons with them. We got to a couple of grand finals, that sort of stuff, and I thought, hang up my boots. But at that time, I was sort of had a couple of roles. I was working for Sky Sports. I was doing all the live stats for the Super League stuff. So I sort of had that in the background. Back in 2004, I did my qualifications for working in the childcare sector, looking after young tamariki that were like, I said, I can't think what it's called in New Zealand, but it's so kids that are sort of, whether their parents have passed on or like foster placements or they're just
like SIF.
SIF, that's it, bro. So very similar.
What do you call that?
Oranga tamariki.
Oranga tamariki nowadays.
Oranga
tamariki. Okay. So I did the qualifications in there. So I did level 3, 4, and 5. So my job nowadays. So when I retired, I went into management. So I manage homes now. For these young people to sort of come and say, I've got a couple of homes that I manage. We're quite a decent big staff team, and then I've got kids that come into those homes. So that's sort of my day job. Alongside that, I was still working for Sky and doing all the live stats at all the.
So you were
Super League
doing
games.
Commentary, bro? Hey.
A little bit, even radio commentary stuff for like local radio stations, but sort of got too busy. So I just stuck with the stats stuff and then looking after the kids, which is my main job at the minute. And then obviously staying involved with like obviously our sort of, we call it our Pacifica group, which is like all the new players coming in, and we sort all that out and stuff and look after the new players coming over. All the youngsters and their families and stuff. and to be fair, like the job I do now, so I've got about 7 of the boys that are still playing pro. So they come work with me. They all work with me with the kids in care.
Yeah.
And this is, and they're quite natural, bro. I suppose, like with our big whānaus back home, they're used to having like dealing with the kids and being able to speak to them on a level. And because they're all presents, they're all like 6'4", 6'5", and the little kids look up to them and they go, "Oh, bro, I'm not messing with those fellas."
Yeah, I think that's Some of the boys over in Brizzy are doing exactly what you're doing too.
Yeah.
They just because, like you said, how they were brought up in New Zealand, they like that over in Oz. Attitude of the guys, and because those fellas don't pick on them because they pick. Wow. Yeah.
And it comes natural, bro. It comes natural to the boys. They're so calm and collected, and like even my English staff, they're just like, man, those guys are so relaxed. They're like, you bro, so chilled out. I know, bro. It's all good. The kids get on with them. And it's for them, it's like those skills are transferable. So once they get their qualifications, if they were to move home, they can take it with them, and move into that sort of line of work. So it's sort of then just sort of networking, and we do push it out with our group. We do have sort of workshops. So during the day, it'll be like rugby league cares will come in and talk about obviously, your mindset, your emotional well-being. And I'll come in and I'll do a bit on mine. One of the other boys, he's a fireman, so if you guys want to go into the fire service, register here, blah. So after footy, we go, bro, after footy, if you want to go into one of these professions, we're here, bro. We're here and we'll support you to come in. Yeah. So that's the sort of network we've sort of set up over here in the UK.
Wow. Nice.
Me, bro. Wow. I'm just grateful too, hearing all this from you, bro. And it's special, bro. Especially what you're doing over there, bro. You're working and also bringing the young fellas that are coming from here and also in Australia, and sort of, actually, using your experiences and just how you are, bro.
It's good, bro. It's good, bro. We knew how to. It was hard when we came over and we sort of didn't have these. For us, we sort of fell into it. Bro, let's create this. Then why not? We're doing this at the minute. We've made a life here, and I think this is home for me now. I think I've been in the UK longer than I've been in NZ, so it's.
How often, Marty? How often do you get back to New Zealand in terms of Hundley?
Try and get back every couple of years.
Nice.
Yeah, every couple of years. Try and get home, sort of stay grounded, bro, and just nice to come home. Nice to come home, bro, for the kai Moana, dinners, bro, all that sort of stuff. Love it, and, bro, and the pies, and the pies, and the pies, brother.
Hey, and you got to get some meals by your marae and that.
Bro. Yeah, no, bro. Always tuna. Yeah. Last time we came back, boys went out, got the hinaki and brought some meals around. Yeah, bro.
Nice.
Wow, bro. Because I was telling, I don't know I think I was telling Tiana, I was asking you, by memory, bro, was it your whānau, Tawara Nico? Was that your whānau as well?
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, first cousin.
Yeah, first cousin.
Cousin.
Bro, I was telling Tiana, but I was like, whoa, I think he's first cousins, but I wanted to make sure I was right.
Bro, his mum and my mum are sisters. Yeah. He's my mum's little sister. Yeah. He grew up. He played with my older brothers. Together. All played rep football and stuff together.
Yeah.
That's true.
So do you get involved? Obviously, back here in Wellington, I'm involved with Masters Rugby League. You have that going on over there?
Yeah.
Masters
Rugby League. Yeah. Masters League. Yeah, it's big over here.
I
play for my local team.
Yes.
Boothtown, but my knees a bit puckaroo at the minute, so I'm sort of like having a rest. I played. So when I retired, 2009, I played a lot of I went and played the international 10s circuit. So I did like Dubai, Bangkok, and all that sort of stuff. So I've done like 4 or 5 years playing on the circuit.
Yeah.
On the international 10 circuit, that was good, bro. Great experience going to the Middle East and playing over there and stuff like that.
So were you representing a club from the UK or?
Club from the UK. So it was they're all. It's union though. It's union, but loads easier. Loads. So we play teams we play from North Africa, Russia, Russian teams, and all that. But when we got to the finals, it was like all the like all your ex-England, Wales representative players. Use Van der Westhuizen, he had a team called J9s, and they flew in like all the thing ABs come in, played for them, like Caleb Ralph and all those fellas. A few of the boys from Waikato, they all came in and they flew all the ABs and Springboks players in. Yeah, when we played those fellas.
Probably Raahui Pookeka was probably in there.
Yeah, Raahui Pookeka as well.
Yeah, he was there. I'm trying to think. But loads. There are loads of them. Yeah.
So that's the union. Did they have the Masters Rugby League as well? Because I look after the Masters Rugby League here in Wellington.
Yeah, they're the Masters Rugby League. So like I say, I played for Boothtown, just our local team here. We actually formed a team over here, bro. A lot of the boys, UK, New Zealand Masters team, UK-based Kiwis.
Yes.
And we had about 3 or 4 seasons. But as the boys got older, we sort of run out of numbers. So it sort of went by the wayside, if you like. But so we had guys, I'm trying to think any of the boys from down your fellows way. A couple of Taranaki boys. Most of them were from Auckland.
Yeah. And were you guys like coloured shorts? Like the white, black, red.
Yeah, we only had one gold though. One gold,
Wow,
one gold and the rest were all. But the boys, bro, who couldn't tackle it, I'm not wearing those. But I want to hit them. I went, no, can you hit them, bro? Whatever. Crack up. But we played Masters, bro. Played for probably 5-6 years. Masters footy. Forget my knee fixed up and
put the goal shots on.
Yeah, bro. Get those goal shots. Don't qualify yet, bro. Don't qualify yet.
No, we just got back from GC, had the International Masters there, and we supported Te Awa or Waikato, their rugby league. So, they took their team over, and because they were short on numbers. So, we helped them out. St. George and Wellington here.
Yeah.
So, one day.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
So look, even with the bad knee, how but our podcast is around sort of guys in this sort of chapter of our lives, and that. How do you look after yourself these days, Martin?
So, mate, I still try and keep busy. I think I'm like for my mindset in the job that I'm in, it's quite can be quite highly stressed when you're looking after young people and stuff. It's not so much the young people for me, it's about the staff. They get hoa, them fellas sometimes. And it's like you got to babysit them at things, but bro, you fellas all adults, mate. Sort your fellas stuff out, bro, sort of thing. And for me, it's like going in with the right mindset. So when you talk about mindfulness and stuff like that, and emotional well-being, for me, I have to go to the gym probably 2, 3, 4 times a week just to sort of stay focused. I'm up like 5:30. I'll go and do an hour workout, go to gym, and I'm like, go, and like, even the staff. So for me, if I set in a good example, and I'm like, and things are organised and going, the staff will follow suit. And generally speaking, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I've got quite a good reputation as a manager to sort of like be right, mate, this fella's organised. He's on the ball 24/7. So it's about you in the first instance, and sort of putting your headspace in the right place, I think. And for me, doing exercise, that sort of stuff, and keeping well, staying healthy, and eating healthy, not getting any younger, bro. And all these different ailments pop up, and you got to go to the old doctor, and he's like, bro, you need to take these tablets. What for? Mate, because I said, bro, that's genetics, bro, diabetes and all that sort of stuff. I'm fit, I'm doing this. He goes, it's hereditary. I went, so for me, it's like just stay in that mindset. I think with my partner, she's quite active, so she runs marathons and stuff like that, and she keeps fit, and we're always forever, like if not every other weekend, we're doing 8-mile hikes and stuff. So I've been fortunate this year, even with me puckaroo knee, been like going up, I climb up like all the national peaks and stuff in the UK. So I go and venture up those and sort of, I don't do it as fast as her, but
Yep.
Just
When you get
soldier
there.
on and just make my way. Yeah, I'll get there, bro.
Hey, are they real peaks or are they just big New Zealand hills?
Yeah, no, so I've done the highest one in Scotland. Proper ones, bro. Yeah, so I've been up Ben Nevis. So when you get to the top of that, it's snow at the top, and if the weather isn't good, it's not kind to you.
Yeah,
it's like a blur. You can't see nothing. But we're fortunate, got some good photos up there, and on a nice day. Did the highest one in England, probably early back in April.
Yeah,
and then next week we're heading down to Wales, North Wales. So I'm going to head up Snowdonia, which is the highest mountain there. So I'm going to cruise up there probably next Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah, keep plodding on. My doctor said just keep going because my knee's like bone on bone now. So I've had all my MRI stuff and just done all my pre-op stuff. So I'm just going to run it into the ground, then they'll cut it out, put me a bionic one in. So looking forward to that, bro. Process.
That's probably like again. Yeah, I've just recently I've done both hips actually. Replaced, totally replaced.
Oh, awesome!
All good. Feel better now.
Yep.
But I got to learn to walk.
Sure.
I've got to get my mind into get walking.
Yep, that's it, bro. That's it. And I think the thing for me, bro, that's it. Just like stay on top of things, and you sort of your head's in a good space, and it's all good. And I suppose both, not getting any younger, and we're so close to Europe. We try and get like a couple of trips into Greece and Italy and stuff with places like that. So for us, it's a luxury for us, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that lifestyle's doing you well.
Yeah. Good.
You're like my old man. He came from Samoa and then never left. He spent more time in New Zealand than Samoa. I can see you sort of. Yeah, man. I'm here now.
Yeah. I'm here, bro. I'm here. This is home now, I suppose, for me. I know home's back home, but I think like with the kids growing up, and to be fair, my oldest boy, he's moving back to Aussie next Wednesday. So he's born and bred there, so he's flying the nest, if you like. Yeah. I said, mate, get out of here. It costs too much money, bro. So he's like, get yourself down there. No, he's got a good job. He's an engineer by trade, and he pays his own way. But it's a new chapter for him in his life, and moving back down there.
Be in the sunshine, eh?
Hey, you're talking to the choir. All three of us can relate.
Got one more lift.
So look, Martin, any final words as we sort of draw to a close? I mean, it's just been fantastic in terms of the stuff that you've shared and talked about. But as we sort of close out, any big gems for final words?
For me, both for you three, just a massive thank you. Really appreciate sort of getting me on your guys' podcast and on this platform, and I suppose sharing people's experiences all around the world, and and obviously through our connections, Freddie, that sort of stuff. It's just absolutely awesome, and I suppose it's nice to know that you guys understand sort of what we've got here in the UK in terms of our footy community and what goes on, and obviously spreading that word so that whānau that are coming over to play. You guys are in good hands over there. You got some good people over there that are there to support you and make you feel at home. But keep doing what you guys are doing, bro, because it's awesome. It's awesome, and I really appreciate being part of your guys' podcast this morning. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, whawhitai. And look, all a real privilege from us as well. So, Te Hau, I'll get you to sort of bring us out.
Yeah. For those who are watching, BST, Blood, Sweat and Talanoa podcast, like and subscribe us. Plenty of likes, and like you heard, our brother Māori Moana. It's an honor. But that's us to closing off, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Ka kite.
Ka kite.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marty.
Yeah, thanks, Marty.